Hi everyone, I am Tara, aka Spirit Mother, and I would like to welcome you all back to my channel on YouTube. I'm Spirit Teaching with Going Within Self on TikTok, 1974 Light Soul, and I'm also live on my Facebook. With that. Today I'm talking about career goals, and the reason if you're not familiar with my channel, I always suggest or recommend that people go in and read the description on my YouTube channel to get a better understanding of what it is that I bring forward on my channel, because it can go here, there, and everywhere, because I channel with spirit in many ways, and I bring a lot of my own experiences forward to like relate more with everybody, because everybody's going through their own stuff right now, and I encourage people to express their own things. And why I encourage people to express their own things is because you'll find out that a lot more people can relate to you, and it's not about feeling shame or guilt or what have you. It's releasing. Now, I chose career goals because I'm working in a program, and they're looking to put me in like shadow work. And I had the conversation with them today because my goal, I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to do public speaking. I want to be out there helping people pull out their traumas. And I go to museums and I feel the energy there, and I clear different things. I'm constantly doing different forms of, I don't say work, I say different forms of service for spirit. Yeah, 이것도 오늘의 신호크실에. And today, she we had a conversation about the shadow, going into some shadow work to get some experience. And one of the places, the place she wants to put me, I'm very hesitant on it. I'm going to go for the experience, but it's not where I want to be, right? Because it's more it's more like going back into a box and working for the system. And I don't want to work for the system. I don't work for a system. I work with spirit. And a lot of places don't understand that. And I was told that she'd find a place for me. And I went in and I read the website of what this place is and what they offer. And I realized that, okay, it's a good place for me to get some experience. But as far as it being something that I want to be full time, and I was sitting there and I was talking, and the reason why I felt like I wasn't going to be able to be my fullest ability, because when I was talking with this person, how do I explain it? I was sort of feeling in a corner, but I didn't speak up at that moment because she had said that I think this would be a good spot for you. But the thing is, I went in and I read about it, and I realized that my ex-sister-in-law does this kind of stuff. And she's more on stress leave right now because her life was being threatened. She was being abused physically and mentally. And I don't want to work in an environment like that, because that is the environment I'm trying to get out of. Everybody needs help, but the help that is required, I'm not going to be able to do a lot of that help by being confined to another box. Because it's not just one piece of it, it's going to the biggest part of it. And that's where I want to be. Making the change in the biggest part of it that's putting these women in these positions. And see, it's more that this organization is more for women. And I'm not just here for women. I don't want to be confined to just women because I'm here to empower women and men, masculine and feminine, not just women. Because men are experiencing the same thing too, only it's not expressed as much. And that help is not out there for them. See, the people that I'd be working with, they're coming out of like abusive relationships, they're coming out of prison, they need places to go, some are drug addicted, and what have you, right? And the biggest way to make the change is make the change within the system. So it's my part is to go bigger, to get a better understanding of the needs, but go right to the source of the problem. Because when these people, I'm going to say people because it's not just women, it's men too, when they're put in jail, right? The help is not there for them. That put them in the position where they felt that crime or abusing people, sexually molesting people, killing people. It's getting into the system itself and helping through the bigger part of the system by changing it and not putting them in there and say that, well, you're a waste of space. Because you may think that they're a waste of space, but their family don't. And some people may not like what I'm saying right now. See, I want to be around people who can utilize my gifts and understand my gifts because it's not just about talking. I clear energy. I speak in multiple languages, and I was sitting and talking with her. I was feeling it in my chest, and spirit wanting to speak, but I was feeling from her, whether she realized it or not. I was feeling from her that she was once again trying to get me to suppress myself as if to say, well, you got to learn to control that because there's a time and a place. No, my time and place is everywhere at all times. I do it in my sleep. I wake up in the middle of the night and I'm channel, and it's not because I need to get grounded, because I'm quite grounded. There was one day that I wasn't, because I was in a strange place and I was on a reserve, Indigenous Indian reserve. Okay? I'm not going to like light foot it for people because people get it the wrong way. And a lot of stuff happened there. A lot of stuff nearby. There was a residential school, and I had been on the property of the residential school. That's what I'm here for. I'm to help. I'm here to help spirits that have no voice, people that have no voice or can't express their voice. So I accepted before I knew what it was. And after I got off, I went and looked. And this is why I chose career goals. Don't settle. If you have a career goal, they say think of just realistic career goals. Well, who is anyone to say what someone's realistic career goal is? Seriously. Did some kids going to school, Armstrong, did he think he was going to go to space, whether like people think he went to the moon or not? Or did some kids think that they were going to be a doctor? And then others thought, well, no, that's not a realistic career goal. A career goal is something you set your mind to. It's not about allowing someone to limit you. So when I got off chat, I went in and I looked it up. And like I said, I didn't like it. I wasn't comfortable with it. It wasn't my voice was shaking. My voice, my throat chakra was locking up. And even during the conversation, it was kind of locking up. And I was saying about the throat chakra, not realizing that I was expressing my own. And when I started speaking, I could see the kind of the irritation. It was another person wanting to shut me down and suppress me because they say there's a time and place for it. Only because you say so, right? But spirit doesn't say so. So when somebody tries to suppress me, what you're actually doing is you're actually suppressing that form of God, that form of spirit. And people can be irritated with me for saying that form of God, that form of spirit. You see, it's not because I disrespect people. It's because I work for spirit, not people, and not you, and not a system. It's not to be rude. So after I looked it up, I wrote a letter because I was sitting there and I was reading this website, and I just started crying. And I started crying because I knew at that moment that no, this is not what spirit wants me to be doing. This is not what I'm meant to be doing. It's a stepping stone. It's a way of getting some experience. See, the thing is, I have experience helping people. Just those people haven't come forward and said what I've done for them. And I don't look for that. I said before, what I want to see is I want to see that healing. I want to see that person heal, not to be gratified, not to what have you. I want others to see it for themselves, through themselves. Yes, I'm dressed up. Yes, I'm dressed. Oh, I'm dressed today for success. Okay. Before I went on, my head's cut off. Before I went on to speak with her today, I stood in front of the mirror and I did it. It was like I was going through an interview with spirit, and I could hear the interview taking place. And it was nice because it was an interview where I could actually be myself and explain things. Because I can't sit still because I'm constantly moving energy. I'm constantly bringing things forward. So if I'm feeling like I'm supposed to just sit in my chair and just wiggle your thumbs so you don't do anything, wiggle your ring, I can't do that. Kaya mo tutuloyan, Lisa. Right now, it's a part of there's a nervous part of my spirit within me that gets nervous. But it's that part that just when you get nervous, just realize that okay, just take that breath because right now what's happening is there's someone trying to cut me off, trying to close off right here and tighten me up, and I can feel that. I'm probably gonna stand up again because when I was doing that, like I could feel my mom, spirit of my mom crying within me because of how I was approaching this spirit to spirit interview. I walk between the spirit world and the physical world. And the way to helping the people is by working through the spirit world because it's those spirits that have been suppressed, that have been locked away deep inside of you for generations and generations and generations. Because it's not just your mother or your grandmother or your grandmother's mother or grandfather or grandfather's father or what have you. It's them all. And for me to suppress myself, I feel anybody that expects me to, that's far from fair. Because for me to go in a place where these women are like coming out of specific relationships or out of jail, prison, or what have you, for me to sit there in front of them and be able to bring forward the gifts that God, Source, Creator, Spirit, Universe gave me. That's not fair. And right now I'm trying to get that email, and for some reason, Outlook, my email is not allowing me to go in. Oh, here we go. See, I know that this the person that's working with me, I know that she understands. And for me, in parts it seems scary because parts of me feel like I'm never going to get to where I want to be, but I know I'm going to. It may just take a little longer, or it may seem like it takes a little longer. It's just getting that right, finding that right person that sees your potential. Because one person doesn't see your potential, it doesn't mean that the next person's not. So I wrote, hi, further to our conversation earlier, I was looking on this, this society website, and I'm not sure this is the work I want to be doing. I feel this may be limiting me because I don't just want to work with women. I really want to work in places where I can utilize my unique gifts. And I feel this, I feel this would not be understood. I really want to work with people who can really understand me. I feel this would be limiting me. I want to work on a much bigger scale relating to spirit. I feel working there, I still won't be able to be myself. I want to expand myself. I want to be an entrepreneur. I don't want to work for another system. And that's what this is. It hurts me to limit myself. I want to travel the world and share my gifts. I have law, but that's not what I want to be doing. I want to help people with a much bigger scale. I don't see this happening through this. My ex-sister-in-law does this, and she had to go on stress leave because she was being abused physically and mentally by the people she was helping. And where I feel energy on such an intense level, I feel it will hurt me and make me less able to help them. This is not the way I want to be able to help people heal. I will try this to get the experience. However, I don't see this being something that I want to be doing full time. I know that this is not going to be easy to find a place for me, and I understand that. I do know that that place is out there for me because I have faith and I know that spirit will place me there. If you could please keep looking, that would be great. So it's that part of being able to speak up. Oh yes, spirits do hear you. I talk to them all the time. They do. And I connect with them. I talk with my mother, I talk with my grandparents, I talk with my ancestors, I talk with the galactic, and I go back to ancient times. Different forms of languages come out of me. And I enjoy going to museums. I enjoy exploring ancient histories. I enjoy looking at the hieroglyphics and just kind of like, and when I see the hieroglyphics, I just start speaking in languages. So I know that I'm telling that story, but to be able to put it in English, that's why I tell people, you're really going to need an interpreter. I see things that are wrong with the world, and I want the help to fix it, to make it right, so that there's not this division, so that there's not chaos, so that there's not discrimination and racism. There's not this fighting over who got what and who didn't. I want to teach people how to be their own leader, how to utilize the tools that help them themselves, and then they can show others. Because it's a part of you being the change and showing that change. See, people that know me, that have known me my whole life, or of it, some of them, they just kind of, they shun me, they don't want me around. Because I can read people, I can tell when people are being honest and genuine. And a lot of people, they don't like that. I bring my own stuff forward, and people don't like that. But in order for me to get to where I want to be, I have to release all that pain. I have to release all that anger and hurt and frustration and feelings of betrayal and neglect, same as anyone. Some people hold on to it because they're so used to it. Some people make you feel less than what you are because they can't bring themselves up, but they don't want you to get that. See, my ex-husband says that like he doesn't want to hold me back. Realize is you may say you don't want to hold me back, but your energy says otherwise because the way you speak to me, not just him, others. And that keeps people from achieving their goals because others have goals, but they don't do or put the work in order to get them because they say, oh, well, this or that. You're making excuses, the same as I was and still do sometimes because sometimes I still have that doubt within me. But those are the parts of me that are healing because it's not used to the different outlook. So it's the ego with fear, fear of the new, fear of going out of your comfort zone, and others that are unable to go out of their comfort zone for one reason or another. When you're holding people back, it's not fair to them and it's not fair to you because what's going to happen is the pain that you're putting them through, it's going to come back at you. And that's what is happening to me right now. The pain that I've been experiencing or have experienced through life, I become, very frustrated. Yeah, I always put everybody before myself, and someone will say, "Oh no, you didn't." Yeah, I did. I always lessened myself to help others to bring them up, but at the same time, I was being pulled. I can't put everyone else first. Not like that. And I felt that it was like a drop. But the thing is, the only way, the way of helping others is to bring yourself up and say, okay, here's the tools. It's up to you. I'm showing you how to use them. It's up to you if you want to use them or not. But I can't be your energy forever. I set boundaries and people don't like it. I set boundaries and they don't like it, that they no longer have anything to do. Well, it's your loss. I always had a career goal, but something always got in the way. I got my paralegal, started working as a legal assistant, had my paroxysm, so I had to stop working. So then I downgraded and went back into working some retail. I didn't like it. I went to university and took a few courses to get my leadership development presentation and to get my mediation, negotiation, conflict resolution. That's what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to be helping people on a much bigger scale, not sitting not in an office or sitting in a little box of it. Nobody is. And I can feel him right there. See, I know his energy. And I know he has a lot of energy too. And I know that he will walk into a room because he did it. We went to a place that sold crystals and fossils and rocks and what have you. And he sucked it dry because I told the woman when we were getting ready to leave, I told her, you're going to want to put some frequency for this room because he just drained it. So I know who he is. And that's why I say Uranus, the dragon. Uranus was the dragon. I pay attention. See, when somebody tells you that, oh yes, I want you to go places and do things, but they don't do anything to help you get there. They don't encourage you. They're not trying to get you there. And he can say it till he's blue in the face. But every time I bring up about energy, he scoffs at it. But yet he has talked about it before. It's like, I'm not playing your games because that's what you're trying to play. When he was younger, he said he wanted to be a veterinarian. But because of his upbringing, it didn't happen. See, what happens is some people, they leave it, they leave home at a very young age because they don't want to be home. So if they had a career goal and they felt that they had to get out, then a lot of the time that career goal goes by the wayside. I have someone else close to me that years back, when their children were younger, who wanted to do interior designing. And they would have been awesome at it. They started paying for the course and they dropped out because life. So like, you love someone and you say you love someone, you do everything and anything in your power to help them get to where they want to be, whether they take you with you or not. Because see, the thing is, the people closest to me, I want to take them with me, but they don't believe that I am capable of being someone great. And that's sad for them because I see them that they could be something great. I encourage people My ex-husband, oh, we have our spats, and I do call him a fucking asshole and everything. Because for some reason the universe put me back here, whether it was a karma to say, fuck you, like later, you know, you don't want to rise. Well, I fulfilled my promise. You seem to be okay. And I felt that. It's the part that, if you want to see me go places and live my life to the fullest, and you really love me, you will be my friend like I've been yours for almost a year now. I've been working on an invention, taking some of what little money I have to make this happen. He was the one that shot it down when I took it to him and showed him. But luckily I didn't listen to him. I listened to spirit. And now it's being worked on. I just gotta come up with some more money to put on it to go to the next phase. They say to take your money and put it into something that you want. And it's not just something that I want. It's something the world needs. And I'm thankful and grateful because spirit brings this stuff to us. I'm grateful to Nikola Tesla for his biography because it came to me after I read his biography or started reading his biography. Because it's that part of reminding you who you are. The next that that night, in the middle of the night, I had a vision, and I got up and I wrote it. I even I asked my brother-in-law too if he wanted to, invest. No, no. See, people think that I'm doing everything for myself, and I'm doing nothing for myself. But I am now because I'm believing in me, whether anybody else does or not. Because it's that part of those same people that shoot you down. When you do get there, they're the first ones with their hands out. And I feel that. I'm not angry. Actually, borrowed money from my sister once so that I could put more money on my pension. And I divorced my ex-husband because I didn't feel loved or supported. afford it. And anytime I asked for help or didn't even ask for help, he just did stuff. Held it against me. I did this and I paid for her to get your car fixed and I did this and I did that. Are you like seriously? You're keeping score? Would you like me to say all the shit that I've done for you? Because if it weren't for me, you'd be in utter fucking chaos. Or maybe you wouldn't even be around today. Or were you lying? People can say all the words that they want to me, that I will know if you're going to tell me. He tells me, oh, well, we'll sort this out. We'll help you, buddy. He even said about helping me pay $23,000 for my teeth because that's what it would cost to get my teeth fixed. Yeah, holy fuck. Yes, she did hear you. And he said, oh, well, we'll get like, we'll figure out something to get your teeth done. Dude, right now I don't give two fucks about my teeth. I'd rather you give me the money to finish paying off to put my get my invention done so that it can get out there. I'd rather help people on a larger scale than put my own fucking ego. My teeth have been like this my whole fucking life. Don't like my smile? Don't look at it. Don't like my front crooked teeth? Don't look at it. Do I got fillings? Yep. Do I get cavities? Yep. You can tell me I got gingivitis. But I'd rather help people than go spend $23,000 to have a nice smile. While we're talking about money, I mean, he had some really fucking holy shit, man, nasty. And for 10 years, Dennis had been saying, like, he should have had his teeth out then. For 10 years, the dentist had said, oh, well, you got to come in and get your teeth cleaned every 3 months. You should have seen his teeth. And then the person that does dentures, she said, well, we can't put dentures. So he was told that he had to have um, implant things in order to get dentures on because something to do with his jaw. But see, the thing is, he had a friend. He had a friend. He's no longer his friend. But he had a friend, and this friend told him that he was getting 32 implants. He was spending $100,000 to get his face full of teeth. Oh, my ex-husband had a problem with that. I can't believe it. He's going and spending $100,000. Dude, you went and got a loan to pay $55,000 for your teeth. So how are you any different? I'm not depriving him of his teeth. I'm just saying, you complain, you say you have no money, but you'll go spend $55,000 You'll go get a loan. Or did you get a loan? Because sometimes I have a, sometimes it goes through my mind that I wonder, he was in the military, did the military place him with me to try to fuck me over, and he got paid for it? Because, he'll talk about shit, but he won't bring it forward. So, that's why my wedding photo that I had of him, and one day I just took the frame and I just slammed it to the floor and ripped up the picture. I had a picture of him on my wall of countless blessings as being part of my family, and I did the same to that picture. Because even when we were married, he'll say, "Oh well, the bank statements were laying on the table." Yeah, and if I had to pick that up, you would have been saying to me, "What the fuck are you picking that up for? That's not your business." I'm saying this is things that kept me from going forward in my career because I kept feeling less than what I was. I kept feeling like I wasn't important, but we're all important. We're all worthy. It's just finding that one inside of us. It's creating a goal, whether it's a small goal, achieve that goal, create another goal bigger. Create the big goal and work towards it in pieces. And that's why I'm going to go do this shadow work. Like shadow work, like shadowing at a job. Even if it's not long, it will give me some experience and a better understanding of what they deal with within that system. See, I've been accepted into university to take my bachelor's for my open studies. My husband keeps saying, "When are you going to go to school?" Dude, with the way you are, I would not be able to fucking con for school. He lives upstairs and I live downstairs. Right now, yes, I am. See, I know what love is and I know how to love, but I've never experienced true love. So I said some parts of me, I don't know how to be loved and I don't know how to accept it because I've never really experienced it in a way that my heart felt it. Once I had a really fucked up sensation. Don't know, don't have a clue what it was, still don't to this day. I just know it was a weird experience. But when people care about you and they truly, genuinely care, and they're going to encourage you to be all that you can be, they're going to work with you to achieve your goals because they're going to see your worth. Whether they are able to reach their heights or not. because it's even exchange. Like I want to, it's part of wanting to help somebody, but actions speak louder than words. For 2 years now, I've been telling him, I don't want to visit you. I don't want to get back with you. Like you're just a total chaos. If you look at my place and you look at his, it's what he feels in the inside, so it's on the exterior, and he'll talk about somebody else of how they lived or the state they left my stuff in. But don't look at yourself. But want to beat the shit out of some people. They would talk about of their appearance and say that they were a bum. Like, dude, you lived out on the streets too. It's like, dude, have a look at your size now. Not throwing shit at you. Have a look at how you're living. It's a part of, people think that like you talk about the way other people live. I've even done it myself until I learned from it and had to look around at my own place, had to look around in myself because I was allowing these people to make me feel less than what I am. And I still feel that when they send it at me. I still have that like that inner child when I go around people and they just like dismiss me or start hollering at me. I'm telling you right now, the way you treat me is the exact same fucking treatment you're gonna get back. And people say two wrongs don't make it right. It's called mirroring. Ask yourself or say to yourself, no, I don't like the way they're treating me. Well, then ask yourself, why are you treating somebody else the way that you would like to be treated? These are the teachings of going within, and this is spirit to spirit. So if you're reacting to it, then you're connected to that spirit that my spirit is speaking to. Working on yourself, putting yourself first. That's how you're going to help people. You're going to be able to help people more by helping yourself first and build yourself up so that they can no longer drain your energy from you. So that they can no longer say, well, you're up on a pedestal, so I'm going to knock you down because I can't rise to get up on my own. So I'll pull you off yours. Even though you put the work in and they didn't. See, it's almost 2 months since my family has spoke to my dad and one of my sisters long enough to like um, get my YouTube, the name of my YouTube to give to my dad for my dad to watch one of my videos. Where we watched then another time to tell me something that she was told. She asked me if I heard. Calls to see how I'm doing. And my, my sister said, well, did you call anybody? No. Why the fuck? Like, why am I the one that's gonna call people when I didn't do anything wrong? I got called a fucking idiot by my youngest son, and he still hasn't apologized. That's pretty fucking sad, dude, considering everything that I've done for you. And I'm not looking for brownie points for that, but I never called you a fucking idiot. And whenever you told me that your dad called you an idiot, I wanted to punch the shit out of him. My ex-husband keeps telling me I hate men, but yet I don't hate men. I want to help. I don't hate them. I don't like being called a fucking idiot and moron and cunt and bitch and slut and whore. And have to make me feel nothing. Because I know that I was never nothing. I was always something. And that's why you wanted to bring me down. Because you wanted to feel superior. And it's this type of behavior that put blocks in front of people from being able to reach their potential. Like family. Why do people call it family? Because I have yet to see a real group of people being like family. And I don't care where you are or what family you are. It happens in everyone. So to call ourselves family, a stranger is more of a family member to me. Sometimes in my own family because they'll encourage me. And this ain't an insult, so you take it how you will. I don't get invited to things, and you can't say, "Oh, well, it's because you speak that language," or no, like you're always like this or that. Hey, did you ever think maybe I'm feeding off your fucking energy and I'm fucking verbalizing shit that you don't? I have one sister that she has stuff to do crafts, and she keeps saying, "I don't have no money." I'm here to tell you, when you start doing that hard work in yourself, you start seeing your own worth and you start bringing yourself up. Matrix trying to involve themselves. Might even be a family member calling, because that's usually when it happens, because I'm speaking up. Distriktutorieta, I've asked my dad a few times because he grew up as a cleaner his whole life, and I wish he hadn't have been because I watched so many people disrespect him, but he still kept doing it because he had to support his family. I always wanted to know what he wanted to be, what his dream was to be, and why he never followed it. But I know it was because they had kids when they were young. And sometimes what happens is, you take it out on your kids because you didn't get to follow your dreams or experience your dreams because you had responsibilities. But it's not your children's fault. I know that I'm meant to do great things and I know I'm going to. And I know you're meant to do great things and you're going to. You just have to move everything aside, look through it so that you can come up with look on my board. Go to Revelations chapter 7, or sorry, chapter 5. It says about the seven seals. The seven seals actually represent the seven chakras, whether certain religions want to realize that or not. You say the word serpent. But it's spine. It's and that's devil's witness. Because that's what's helping me rise. Because spirit, crystals, my DNA is starting to go back up. So I bring it. Today, I feel what you're doing. Right there. Yeah, your process because that's what I'm getting. Seriously, I'm not throwing shade on religion or your religion. I'm saying you're not preaching. You're not teaching what you preach. So you yourself, by not teaching what you preach, you're actually holding a lot of people back because you have people believing that they have to go somewhere to someone else. Or in a book, the book is a guide, but you are going to get you. You are the one in the end that's going to get you to where you want. You're not a psychologist, pastor, priest, reverend, rabbi. You want your mother, your brother, your father, your sister, your aunt, your uncle, your grandparents, your husband, your wife. Even say it. Jesus may have healed physical stuff, but you need to heal the mental and emotional stuff. and you're going to heal it through what you say is Christ. One says Christ Spirit, Spirit of Christ. Where does the Spirit of Christ reside? Resides within you. And there's people that don't like that, but you know, my belief, my wholehearted soul, full belief in God, our Spirit Creator, universe, however anybody perceives it, because that's the teachings. I said it when I took Stars and Galaxies, because I would like maybe to go to university, but not so much go to university as actually talk to people who have done the deeper work and know the true understanding of it all. And it's not to throw shade at others because it's how you interpret stuff, but it's the part where we're rewriting history. You're rewriting your story. And once upon a time, okay, I do use this a lot. It had Henry. Henry was Emma, she was said to be the savior. It was her son. And I was actually watching something, and they said about they found what was a laser pen, and it was when they were doing the, you know, not the. It is the name is right there, but anyways, Enoch. Okay, the book of the Enoch. Okay, Enoch, Inky, or Enoch and Inky. There's a woman that talks about this, and she described what was said to be like a laser pen, and it would laser into the crystal. Well, when you watch Once Upon a Time, okay, there's the writer, right? And Snow White and Prince Charming goes to the writer. The writer doesn't write the story as it's supposed to be. The writer manipulates it. They catch the writer and what have you. And then what ends up happening is Henry becomes the new author. Yeah, the author. So Henry became the new author. And then they went to a realm in the last season. And the Dark One was getting Henry to write his forms of the story where it would separate everyone. Everyone would be in isolation. Okay? See the story when he had the first author start rewriting books, in a sense. He had the author make him a hero, and the heroes become villains. The pen was the same sort of idea, but it was said to like a certain ink. It was like a fountain pen. It was like one of those old fashioned pens, the ink pen, where you dip it and you write and what have you. It was magical pen and scribing because you didn't have to write it. You just hold a pen and it would just kind of move and write on its own because it was writing the story as it was happening. That's what you're doing. I mean, people look at me like I have 100 heads because I say about like watching this series and you'll get a better understanding of what's happening in the world. And the moral of it, that, like with regards to the Savior, of her being the Savior, because everyone was her family, she was there to break the curse. I was in church on Sunday, and I remember watching the series Charmed, the first one, with Lano and them, and I could have swore she started reading about, and then she said Balthazar, right around those words. And when she said that, I kind of like they talk about that on Charmed. And Charmed is a magical show. And Balthazar was a demon who was in love with a witch. But they ended up leaving each other. She ended up divorcing him. And she, at the end of it, she ended up with Cupid. And she had loved him, but he still kept doing the same thing. Because the same as the dark one on Once Upon a Time. Power is more important than love. And see, the thing is, I watched an interview today with Elon Musk and Jordan Peterson. Jordan Peterson was trying to get Elon Musk to price because Elon Musk believes in like the universe. See, the thing is, it's not the part of necessarily believing in one person or one belief system because it's in them all. Just different needs. You know, like Jesus can come back anytime, right? How do you know that Jesus wasn't out? You know, there's been questions of it, both and ICs. Right? I hear something strange. Isis had Horus, and Horus was my great granddaddy. So it's that part, you know. Do they say no such thing as coincidence? Just synchronicities? Yeah, it's pretty ironic. Just look in your own family line. You might see some familiar names from whether it be ancient times or, you know, you perceive to be your biblical times, medieval times, Victorian times, however the fuck you put it. Because everything is happening now, and that's why the world looks like utter chaos because everything's happening at the same time, and we're just sort of seeing it now, part of history repeating itself. And see, the thing is, when history repeats itself, if your ancestors kept thinking that everybody thought of them as being low and they kept being suppressed, then it keeps going through this you become part of that person if you're not already that person and just not remember it. Didn't like that, did you? Too bad. He said not being ignorant, just being honest. So I want to experience university. So I took 2 classes. I started 2 classes. I didn't stay because, well, in Stars and Galaxies, I actually was sitting there taking notes. Here's if I can find it. Y que no me apetecía salir todavía, ¿eh? Yo la que salía. Oh, this was philosophy. I found like philosophy. All she ever referred to was the philosophy of men. And there's like like in the masculine, the ego aspect of it. Okay, the analytical mind can be going all the time, and you begin to overthink everything. But there's a part of the analytical mind when you're creating something. And in philosophy, I seen a lot of overthinking and making things more complicating because it was that part of picking it apart and analyzing everything, even the stuff that was kind of filler. So in there, philosophy, and I was doing killing and letting die. See, the thing is, I'm not into the doctrine because I see it from a different perspective. And a lot of other people see things from a different perspective, but we're told and trained that no, it's this way and only this way. It can't be any other way. But all the pieces, you might still have all the pieces, but there's other ways of putting it together. Some people, you put a puzzle together. Some people start from the outside in. Some people start from the inside out. And some people just go randomly. But eventually, it comes back to the full puzzle. One may take longer. But it's being opened to learning different ways, different styles, different perspectives. Stepping back and, instead of looking at that one part there, step back and have a look at the overall. Because you'll come to the answer a lot quicker. Because you won't like picking at one little thing. In that instance. So when I did killing and letting die, I started thinking like of the higher mind, the pineal gland, third eye, evil eye, eye of Horus. Well, it's actually the eye of Horus is one, and Ra is the other, and then the feminine is the central eye. More of the feminine, and they'll say it. But what ends up happening to get the whole sight of it, you come to the balance, the masculine and feminine working together. But they lost that ability. And now, they learn how to do it all over again. And that's in everyone. When you're not speaking up for yourself, you're you're more deep in your inner child, okay? When you're protecting yourself, you become in your masculine. And when as you become more in your feminine energy, on the timer, as I said that, you become more in your feminine energy, you start to expand. And it doesn't matter if you're in the body of a man or in the body of a woman. You should never fucking manipulate your body because you're uncomfortable in your own skin. It's that part of realizing what you're experiencing. It's okay. Like people say, well, it's not okay to be gay. It's okay to be gay. If you're gay, you're gay. But if you want to dress like a boy, dress like a boy. Don't have your breasts cut off or anything like that to fit the part. Because it's not the physical body as it is the mindset. And I felt that. And gender, when I was looking into university, I was looking into doing the gender course. I was looking into ancient civilizations, the study of religion, psychology, sociology, and I was just looking at everything because my brain already looks at it and sees it's familiar. It may not always come out in English, and by like being able to connect with both the heart and the mind, and it's working together. It's seeing each other. So when I did Killing and Letting Die, that irritated me because it's like, you guys are over it. You guys are sitting here, you're analyzing what's morally right to kill or let die with regards to euthanasia. And the thing is, it's not up to you. It's up to the person and their family and the physician doing it. Do you think it's morally right? Well, maybe not. But you say about like killing is all in the Bible, but it's murder. You're murdering each other. Do I agree personally with euthanasia? No, I don't, because I found out what it is. They paralyze the body and then insert the euthanasia stuff, and the person drowns from the inside. Only they can't respond to it. So it's that part when we're doing that, ask that person, because I'm sure they don't tell them how it is that they're dying or that they're going to die. Ever meet somebody that drowned it, that almost drowned? Just think, and they can fucking move. I just heard about abortions. Okay, how do I put it? Just because I don't think, well, I can't say that I don't believe in abortions, and I can't say that I wouldn't have one, because it would depend on the circumstances. And I just felt that. And see, you jumped to a conclusion because I seen the video that was posted on TikTok with regards to how they pull a baby out. But see, I was also watching a program where they were saying that, sometimes in birth, they'll use forceps to bring the baby out, or they use the suction thing. So were they showing that happening, a delivery that way, because they had to watch for it, or were they showing an actual abortion at full term? Because do I believe in? No, fuck no. Was that just asked? Do you believe in the pill? Which the night after. That's up to the person. But it's knowing that when you are intimate and there's no protection in a relationship, a willing thing, then that's where you need to really sit with things. Because in the end, it's up to that person or those people. When it comes to rape, incest, where a father impregnates or like what have you, if it's unwarranted, like, I mean, no father should be having sex with his kid or siblings or anything. But I know it happens. If a person is being, if they've been raped and stuff like that, think of, I want you to think of that person that was raped, the experience they went through. Because I know what it's like to be raped. Okay. At a young age. So if you, I started, I'm gonna, like, men might want to hear this, but I started my menstrual cycle just right around just before or just slightly after me turning 11. I was raped at 9. If I had been a little bit sooner, I could have got pregnant. I'm feeling that it gives a whole other outlook, doesn't it? And that's with a teenager, a young adult, older adult, they got pregnant, and only women can get pregnant. You do your sex change or what have you, but you still, like, okay, how do I put that? Man may have his breast cut. Wait, yeah, that is really okay. A lot of controversy with it. Okay, I'm figuring it out so that it doesn't really like that it doesn't insult people, because with stuff like this, it's been a very touchy subject with everyone. People are fighting over it and things like that. And I don't have to tread carefully. Okay, if a woman goes and does this stuff to do the appearance of a man, and you get pregnant, you're getting pregnant with female body parts. Your mental mind may be a man, but your physical body is that of a woman. And that's where it comes in more of a, not transgender, but more of a a two-spirited aspect of it because you experience the masculine and feminine. You have the body of a woman, but the mind of a man, or the body of a man and the mind of a woman. So I can see where you would experience that and feel it. But I just say, like, please, please don't mutilate your body. And any doctor that does it, you ought to be ashamed of yourself because you're guilting people. You're manipulating people for your own personal gain and greed. I watched the thing, it's public, Elon Musk. He says that he was tricked into signing a paper for his son to have the surgery. From what I understand, there are schools and teachers that are allowing kids to change their name or what they possess pose as without speaking with the parents. It's not the parents that's got a problem with it. Everybody just needs to be educated, and you're not educated. Not even the ones teaching it. Not being rude, but it's part of that bias, or however the fuck it is. I'm live. But I think he knew that. Do I believe that people should be taking the pills to change their hormones? No, because it's going to steroids. Somebody got angry at me or said something about it one day when I said about like your body don't stop maturing until you're 25. And that's not just that's physically and mentally. We're talking about like the age of consent. I'll tell you right now, I was 15 when I gave birth to my oldest. My body was physically mature and my internal organs and stuff. But mentally, I wasn't mature enough to understand what I was going to experience afterwards. I gave consent to have sex, yes. I was 14 and out. I knew what I was doing, having sex, but there wasn't no protection. And that's where the education comes in, and I'm not talking about it being taught in school. There was that, what was it? They were saying about the painting or the thing in Paris mocking Christianity. And I'm feeling that. And I told you, I picked some really hard topics on here. Was it making a mockery? Like I said, I'm going to sit with that for a minute because it's another touchy subject. Okay, think of it this way. Okay, they say we have two timelines. Okay, you think of your good aspect, and what you perceive good and bad, right? Okay, so I'll refer to the series Charmed. Okay, when uh, one of the elders kidnapped Wyatt, the son, who was magical, and he was trying to hurt him. Okay, and what ended up happening was Phoebe and Paige, the one they were playing, okay, and they went to the mirror and they could hear something. And at the same, they opened up the curtain, and at the same time, on the parallel world, they had the dark version. So they were seeing each other's reality. Right? I know, like I'm getting that, and it's like, okay, if you're familiar with quantum physics, if you're familiar with epigenetics, and just look up Bruce Lipton, Nikola Tesla, um, Joe Dispenza, and there's more. They talk about this stuff, right? So you're looking, and it's like the mirror. You're looking through the mirror. They were looking through the mirror, seeing the dark versions of themselves, and vice versa. So what they ended up doing, they ended up going in the ones on what was perceived to be the good side, went over to through the mirror to the dark side, and everything there was another chaos. But there was versions of each other. In their world, there was like cars and everything all over the place and what have you. Okay, it was destruction. Okay, they say that we're like if Dolores Cameron, the Earths are separate. Okay, but it's met. And if you watch Vampire Diaries, okay, when Bonnie and Bonnie tries to bring, is it her mother or grandmother? She wants to bring someone back, or talk, like what happened, talk to them or something. And she opens a portal. I can relate to this. Okay, she became the enemy to go back because what ended up happening when it opened, both sides, everything was mixing together. You say about AI, well, there's people's gonna think you're fucking crazy. There's like the planets where AI was, and they destroyed themselves. Like if you look at different interviews with the Greys said that they are future versions of us because they created more of an AI. They went out of their heart space into their analytical into their analytical mind, their mind of just no love, just what have you, and they created all this stuff, and we're repeating it now, but we're seeing it all over the place. Yeah, I'm feeling that. Oreste kotoria nakata te sutoya asho como sutu. Tana kita kare sutu tayo ay. Isto la como sutu to huyan. Sai no to sala seria no para to tuvieta. Sutu tayo ni. Ni patare to tusu tayo. So then it was said that they were like now they're to try to bring their civilization back. See, people will also say about the Greys being bad, the Dracarians, and the lizard people. And do I believe in that? Yeah, I do. Okay. You know, you see some pretty fucked up shit. Okay. And, and yeah, to be honest, they could even be your family members. Isa tatay sututi mo kata sa kiyain na. Shuli sikili po to kiya sa kukushi mo to tayo. Ito to kiya, ito kusto to kiya. Yeah, that's a mouthful. I got. Where I live, it was pretty cool because my ex-husband, his four wheelers were going in his backyard to his property, and he blocked it off. And right after he blocked off, because they were coming from the school, because the school's just adjacent to the road, and they were coming from the school. They would go to the school and they come through and they tear up the school property. And then when he blocked it off, all that stopped. So when all that stopped, the school here, they built an outdoor, like an outside school petitions to learn outside. And I hope they do it. And we got to figure out a way to be able to have that happen all year round. So we went over to check things out, and they have musical instruments out in the playground, and they have different forms of really cool playground equipment. And they have this big gazebo where they can run outside. And I mean, it's a big freaking gazebo, and it's a nice gazebo. And they have this bench, and there's in the bench, it's like the two sides. Okay, one the dragon, and one the chameleon, I believe it was chameleon or Komodo dragon. And whoever did it, they did an awesome freaking job. It's bringing the creativity back, okay? Because we say, no, we were here for like it was that part that everybody was living together and experiments started taking place. Think of, okay, I did the thing, my picture I drew, okay, and I broke it down, and I had the face of God. It represented symbology, and that's what's happening. You're experimenting on different things and creating different forms. Okay? Don't they say that they're trying to grow they're trying to grow human body parts or something like that with sheep? I read that when I seen the zoology thing because I started going down my own rabbit hole. Only I didn't go down like the kind of rabbit hole that a lot of other people have gone down. I went down the weird ass fucking rabbit hole, and it was not fun because when you go down that rabbit hole, you're going down inside because you're going to find hope. And when you go down that rabbit hole, you start intuition. I had somebody else tell me that like they're talking to me, and I said about what they said about what they've experienced when they were doing something. And at first I said your intuition, and I was like, well, no, I'm not your intuition. And I looked at and at the same time we basically said the clairvoyance. 144 in the timer as I said that. Dice quería todo y eso, le dice que no podía, super puto, sí, good. Es super para ella, super ideal. So, yeah, this is why I say I'm not meant to be in a small room. I've been in a small room basically my whole life. Everybody has been in a small room pretty much the whole life. And it's that part of saying, I gotta come out like Belle on East Side Down once upon a time. The dark fairy, black fairy. She cast a spell, and in that spell, her son was the dark one, Marcus was evil, however you refer to him in the series. But she told her son that he would have his family before she did this spell to curse the town again. Okay, so he agreed because he thought he was going to be with his son and with his wife. See, the thing was, he put Belle away from him and did something to make him forget about it. Well, not forget about her, sorry, correction, to make him think that she left him to see the world with someone else. But he was awake, and he ended up finding her. And she was paranoid. She was stockpiled with cans and paranoid to go outside. But she was a bookworm. She was his right-hand lady. She fell in love with her master. And he fell in love with his winch. So it was that part. I know people say, well, like, what does that have to do with anything? The moral to it is that love, no matter whether it's with a dark one and a light one, it might be more of a struggle. But Belle still loved what everyone perceived as being the beast. They broke up time and time again, got back together. I'm not saying stay with your beast or what you perceive to be a beast, because Belle was looking in. She's seen through the power and the facade. She's seen to the heart. And that was the same as the Queen of Hearts, ripping out hearts, because she was in love with Rumpelstiltskin, but she didn't want to feel, she wanted to be queen, but she was in love with Rumpel. And in order to be queen, she had to rip her own heart out so that she didn't have that love for him. But she had no love for anybody else because she took out her own heart. And her daughter in the series, she Snow White, she told Snow White that she was in love with the stable boy, and she didn't want to marry her father, Snow White's father, the king. And she was to keep it secret, but she told the mother, the woman's mother. And the woman's mother loves her. So she became that herself. She became angry and resentful towards Snow White, so she wanted to kill her. So make her life miserable, and she wanted to kill her. Okay? But she would go around ripping people's hearts out, because what it's telling us is that love can hurt, but love can heal. When you take and you rip your own, like it's like ripping your own heart out, or somebody ripping you out, feeling like you're hurtful. or you do something and you feel heartbroken because you're regretting what you did or didn't do. It feels like a piece of your heart went with it, or a piece of your heart came towards you. And when coming with all that, then you start seeing your own worth, and you realize that, you know, start looking at those goals that you once had, because those goals were your inner child. And that's the way that they say about the kingdom, that's the way to the kingdom, finding that inner child and becoming, before any problems, becoming that dream come true, because you make it come true. Same as when you have dreams, you perceive them to be dreams, but what you're not aware of is you're actually traveling into different forms of reality. When I was in a psychiatric the first time in 2021, there was a gentleman in there, and he was telling me about his experiences. And he kept saying it wasn't him. And then he was finding like things that had been in his place, he would see them somewhere else on a wall. And he explained this, and I understood what he was talking about. And then he said about they were talking about delusions and knowing the difference. And he said about if you see a pink elephant in the road, do you swerve? It's like, well, it's knowing the difference between an illusion and real. But the thing is, I mean, you may be seeing something on a it's like a spirit world. Like that's why you see these videos of people somewheres, or you see a figure somewheres, and it's like the train goes right through it. Right? What you're experiencing is you're seeing things happening on a physical aspect and a spirit aspect at the same time. And then when you have things move, it's most of the time like it's you. Like moving it, you're just not aware of it happening. It's those parts of yourself, like that inner child. That inner child it's playing with the part of your inner child. It's freaking the shit out of you. I know. I went to a museum. Oh my Jesus! Holy crap! Things weren't going too bad, and we got going through this one room, and I was observing things, and all of a sudden it was like I felt a swipe go behind my leg. And I looked around, there was no window open, there was nothing on. So I walked again, and the swipe went again, and I was like, and I looked, and I was like, okay. And then all of a sudden, the friggin' swipe went right across. I mean, it was like, whoo! And I just jumped and looked, what the? And people were downstairs, and I was like, oh, whoa, what just happened? And I told her that it was like a kid went and swiped behind my legs, and there was nobody there. And then I walk in this room where there was a bunch of kids' clothing, white kids' clothing. Like I'm talking about like 1800s, early 1900s, what have you. And I was looking, and then all of a sudden, I felt something, and I turned, and there was a doll in the carriage. And I know people say well, I was actually communicating with the spirit connected to that doll. And what has had ever fucking, oh my gosh. Like it was kind of telling me what happened of what it's seen. It's seen a lot of abuse. See, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm not supposed to be sitting, like I said, in a room. Just I'm supposed to be helping on a much larger scale. And there are some people that just don't want that help. But do that because I'm already doing it, whether I can physically see it or not. And if others don't see your lives, don't worry, because maybe it's because they don't see you. Do I like learning about this stuff? Yes. I don't like watching TV a lot. I watched certain series and once upon a time, I don't know how many times I binge watched that thing through and through. But I watch it by looking at the whole world because they have King David in there, they have King James in there, they have King George in there. They have King Leopold. They have the whole storyline. They even talk about Moses in one episode of it, like about him being sent down the river. Because they usually ended up, they had to go away, right? They send Moses away, and they said Yeshua and his family were on the road. Enlightenment. Sometimes it doesn't take much to get there, and then depending on what way you go. I guess, more taking the long way around because I have some people that, I guess, look the long way. And you know what? Some of them are damn stubborn, just like myself. But they're, well, they could say I was weird. But at least I know common sense, and I know how to talk. I may get pissed off sometimes and come off aggressive, but holy shit, how much longer are you going to put it off? That's why I say addressing the elephant in the room. And we don't like humans don't like to do that a lot because they hit first. A lot of the time they hit first. I seen a thing where people said about teaching their daughters to hit first. How about nobody hit at all? It's like if somebody hits you, well, I mean, most of the time they should, like, if they hit you, they should be expecting something back. And I don't like violence. No, I said before, I never hit anyone. Grabbed hold of a couple people and shoved them up against one up against the fridge and one up against the door. One up against the door. That was because, well, home one day and I gave him spaghetti. I don't know what was wrong with the spaghetti, but he threw it at me. So I threw a pen at him and he walked up and grabbed me by the throat. Well, when he grabbed me by the throat, I grabbed him right back and I charged him backwards into the door. And then the other one was because they said that my oldest wasn't my kid. So I grabbed him and threw them against the fridge. So like I forgive people, but I'm being honest. It's those closest to me that I have a harder time forgiving. The same as like it's always sometimes the closest things to us. If I can't, I'll be in like it's not that I don't forgive. It's that I'm struggling to forget it because I still haven't gone through and processed it all because I'm still processing things. Oh, and I did go to my dad's place once. It was the other day. Yeah, because I said about my ex-husband and my dad having a conversation, and my dad was saying something about something he's seen, and my ex-husband started like getting uppity, and I could feel it in the room, and it was like, so I just started moving it, and I did take my dad's side. I told my ex-husband, like, stop, like, let him finish. Oh, he didn't like me for doing that. Well, too fucking bad for you. I told him that, he's the one that told me sometimes you gotta speak your language, but he don't like me speaking his, right? And it's that part. They do it like when I'm talking and he interrupts, it's okay. But if he's talking and I just kind of say something and interrupt, well, it's like the world isn't not allowed. Like, do I do that? I have. At least I can say it. I can say it, but I'm still waiting for him to say things. And they say, "Oh, don't worry about if you ever get it." No, but they always want, right? See, I say I wouldn't be able to do that job full time because the way I approach things, it's not always soft because sometimes in order to help someone find what it is that's holding them back or keeping them from changing something, sometimes I have to get really assertive. sometimes it's like sometimes you gotta push it off to bring it out, whatever it is. It's just because I had after I did that, they had a big release. I've done that in the store, and it's just by having a conversation with somebody and actually hearing what they have to say. Because everyone needs someone to talk to, whether they want to admit to it or not. Because you can tell when somebody tries to have a conversation with them and they're avoiding it. They say they don't want to talk about it. Well, the way they're going on is that it's the act of it's playing that, and it keeps reminding them of something that they don't want to remember. But because they get so angry, they get angry because they can't stop it because of the devil or what fear. You know, when you go through this, your feelings are in your body. Like I could honestly say my mind matches my hair. You know, the blonde airhead, because it's like, "Buhay mo, sinahay na kaya siya kaya sa tayo mo tayo." Wow, gusto niya. Oh, dang. Yes, tayo mo, kaya. Ôi, tôi xin lỗi, một tôi hay na. Gusto na kaya so. Holy crap. She's gonna. This hasn't happened in a while. Wish yeah, no, yeah. Really, no, yeah, español muy bien, muy bien. Chiquito teatro, te creas. Yeah, it's like, turn the channel, man. I said, I know. Usually that's how they yell. Oh, yeah. Oh my Jesus. Oh, come. Yeah, nice. This is humility, man. But I don't feel humiliated. What happened? Yeah, no, people would say, "Do you got some strings there?" And you're like, "You little fucking puppet. You got some string?" No, no, no string. Sometimes I feel like I am. Yeah, that's right. What I'm experiencing is energy moving through the body. It's holy crap. It's moving up your system. And someone say, "Oh, will you be-" No. okay? Because I'm a well aware of what's happening. And that's the part where when people are doing things, what they're experiencing is a spirit and one that they're not understanding. And that's why you call people bipolar, manic depressive, schizophrenia, psychosis, psychopath, psychotic. The terms that get put on people, it's all due to spirit, spiritual manifestation. Because you're manifesting what you're feeling inside. So what you're feeling inside is what you're experiencing out there, even though you may not be aware of it. It's like I had somebody tell me about like they don't want to get thrown off mushrooms because of what can happen when people are on the psychedelic drugs without knowing what it is that they're doing. Because sometimes they can go so far inside themselves and see the deeper parts, which can be really messed up and scary. And then I had somebody tell me that their mother attacked their father because of what I said to be a psychotic episode he was having. And it was saying he was telling his father, like he was believing that his father was trying to cause harm to him, but what he was actually experiencing was he was experiencing a spirit within himself that had a memory of a spirit that was inside the father. And it became an attack. Maybe things happened in childhood and it played on one, and it manifested. Like you say about people poisoning people. Some people are manifesting that themselves. And then I just I got um think of it okay, pregnancy. Okay. Sometimes medication gives you appearance of pregnancy. And sometimes people with mental health issues, said to be mental health issues, their stomach grows. And sometimes they may believe that they're pregnant. Or sometimes you can have somebody that they believe so strongly that they're pregnant, and they can even go right to full term, nothing showing or anything like that, and go to full term and give birth. But there wouldn't necessarily be a baby there, but it's that part of what aspect of like what's going on. That's it. They say it's a phenomenon. It happens. It's rare. But so is the set of Mother Mary, right? And her grandmother, Horus. Because yeah, people didn't like that. What was like down back in the Bible, like down that part of the Bible. You didn't go before that. Because Horus, he was another virgin birth, Isis, and then there was a Hindu, I don't know if it's Hindu, but I have a Hindu there. I have to apologize for them. But it's happened. And I even looked into things where Mother Mary's father did the same thing that Yeshua, Jesus, however you perceive it, said. He did 40 days and nights. And Mother Mary's family was said to be wealthy in what I read. I got that stillness right now. But see, the thing is, the teachings have been around since the beginning, because that was the beginning. They say that it was ones coming down. No, they the debate is who were the first ones here. They were here many different times. It wasn't even said to be through a spark of light. No, God created the atom and he had to leave the voltage. People say about like a land and it blocked off. They've been a form of Eve, created from an atom and electric voltage. I know I'm getting that stillness there, like confusion, man. I was looking at one night and I was looking at the word Adam and I was looking at Eve, and then I thought of atom, and then I thought of electrical voltage, and then I did the research of what each thing was, and it made sense. Yeah, I just got back on that. I was doing, yeah, I like in Stars and Galaxies. The course I was taking in Stars and Galaxies. Holy crap! I was sitting there and I was writing things down, and what center of the human, the heart. So the center of the universe would be said to be the sun. So the sun would represent the heart. Proton electrical charge. So we get the sparks going through our body. And then neutron, I wrote electrically neutral human electrical system. And then I say about the planets or what represents our chakras. Magnetic field, magnetic body. Human heart is the magnet. You know, they say you create. I mean, you can manifest what you create. It's drawing and putting out, and so needless to say, I didn't pass. I knew I wasn't going to pass that course because my mind wasn't where it was supposed to be. Well, I mean, it was, but we just don't like it's not understanding that it was describing more of the human body, in many texts. Astrology, you know, we had the Virgo, we had twins, bear, all of them. Does everything in the sky not represent something or someone, even a family? You know, they say star systems, clusters, galaxies. You create your own reality. And I know it's like where interference gets in there. Yes. How are we going to navigate it? Think of yourself as being in a car. Okay. How do you think sometimes you avoid certain accidents that are happening? What happens? Your intuition kicks in. So it tells you, don't go there. Or you get that voice. That's your intuition keeping you from experiencing something that may not be in your best interest. Use your clairvoyance to navigate things. It's like when you're playing a game of chess, they say stay these 3 steps ahead, right? Or even one. See it and navigate. Secondo poi noi, ja, scorreria, scusi, tutto tempo, scusi. Yeah, I'm like this way and that way, and it's like right now it's like right here. So a lot of people are in their heart chakra right now. They're in their heart space. They're feeling a lot of emotion, and I know there's a lot going on right now. And I just felt that kind of shift within self and kind of move in the heart space because you're unable to express yourself verbally. Fear of not knowing, or is it the fear of the outcome? Right now, it's moving the energy within my body because I'm feeling others. Is that she? I don't know the names for it. I just know it's a moving energy. I mean, my higher self does, but it's yes, moving energy. Like it's, so, I guess it could be considered a form of she. Chissà quale comunque sono non yeah. See, there was another time I was explaining something, and right before I read something, I got stopped urgently, and I was told that they had to tell me something before I read it. Yeah. This is like, isn't it ironic, don't you think? A little too ironic. I am going to go. Give a dance like no one's watching. Love like you'll never be hurt. Sing like no one's listening. Live like it's happening. That being said, I'm sending you all this love, light, many blessings, most importantly, very good health to anyone and everyone wanting to receive and accept. Wish you all to be thankful, very be supportive, be yourself, be authentic yourself, be true to yourself, be kind to yourself, be true to others, be kind to others. Know that you have more strength than you can call. Send you all love. Have a great night. Keep up for yes, and yes, great.